Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. For those that are new here, welcome. For those that have been here, welcome also. My name is Gabby and today I'm going to be discussing about my move to Ireland. And let me tell you guys that this is a very interesting video, so you want to stay till the end of the video. I'm the one telling you because it's me that's saying the story, so you want to stay till the end of the video. So guys, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell so that whenever I post a video you get a notification, and also don't forget to leave a comment down below and to share with your family and friends. Okay, let's get into the discussion, guys. So I think the first time I started thinking about Ireland was in 2018. I was thinking about going to Canada. I had applied to schools in Canada, but my agent, I'm using the air quotes because my agent said that I should try applying to schools in Ireland, and I'm like, okay, as long as I can leave Nigeria, truth is, I'm gonna go. So, and he suggested two schools to me, the University of Limerick and Trinity College, and then my brother suggested Cork Institute of something, I don't know, or Cork something, but I didn't apply to that one. So I applied to just two schools, which is University of Limerick and Trinity College. And if anybody wants to know the agency I use UKEAS. They are in Nigeria, and I think they're in different states, but I only know about Abuja and Lagos. And then they also organize fairs. And just in case they didn't pay me to say this thing, I'm saying it because I use them and they were very good to me, you know. So when my agent told me about Ireland, I'm like, okay, no problem. Let's throw our feet in the mud. So I applied to Ireland. The schools in Canada, well, they didn't give me admission. I was sad, but that's okay. And then he sent me one fateful afternoon. I was just lying down on my bed, and then he sent me an email from the school, and they had given me an acceptance letter, an offer letter, whichever one you want to call it. And then trust me guys, I was really excited, but apparently I was the only one excited because my brother wasn't excited for some reason. He really wanted me to go to Canada, but I was indifferent, honestly. As long as I get to do my master's and I get to leave the country and get a globally recognized degree, I wasn't really bothered about the country, either Canada or Ireland, anyone. And it took me a while for me to convince my brother to answer me, but eventually he succumbed to the idea that Ireland is not a terrible country. I think he was really bothered about the university having a high ranking in the world and blah blah blah. But then I'm like, see, the university has a very good ranking, as to the best of my knowledge, because I did a lot of research. The university has a very good ranking and it's a globally recognized degree at the end of the day, right? You get me? So eventually he agreed, and then I started processing my visa. I started looking for my transcripts, or trying to get my transcripts from school. And trust me, Nigerian universities, they don't make it easy for you when you want to collect your transcripts. You people need to do better. Have a website or something so that people can easily get their transcripts. Jesus. Eventually I got all my transcripts, I got everything. I went to the visa website, and let me just tell people that the period my brother finally agreed, it was already getting close to when school was going to resume, because school was going to start in September 2019. And for my brother to agree, he agreed in June, right? And I still had to get all my documents ready and stuff like that, which took me a while. So by the time I submitted my agent told me that the visa processing takes about 6 to 8 weeks. In my head, I'm like, 6 weeks? I'm going to resume with these people on the 9th. Like, I was happy that I'm going to resume on the 9th. I'm telling you people. So eventually I submitted my documents, I think on the 31st of July or 1st of August. I'm not sure which one, but one of the two, right? And then when I submitted my documents, I was waiting for them to get back to me. They didn't get back to me. 4 weeks have passed, they still didn't get back to me. So what I did was, I now went to the embassy, like the embassy website, the embassy in Nigeria, in Abuja. I went to their website and I sent them emails. I went to the embassy like 2 times every week to check if my if my visa had arrived. And it hadn't arrived. I was worried. At some point I gave up. I'm like, see, if it's for me, it's for me. If it's not for me, it's not for me. Honestly, there's nothing I can do. So eventually I waited, school had resumed, and then I hadn't gotten my visa yet. I was really worried because I thought that I wasn't going to go anymore. Like, I'd given up again. So when I went to the visa office, they kept giving me stories and stories, blah, blah, blah. So eventually, the school now sent us an email, or sent me an email. I think they sent everybody the same email, that if you haven't gotten your visa by now, you have up till 23rd of September to resume. Like, my mind was doing kikum, 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 kikum. I'm like, Jesus, what will I do? So eventually, school had resumed. I still hadn't left Nigeria. I was still in Nigeria. I was still waiting for my visa. We just said it would take 6 to 8 weeks. It took 8 weeks on the dot, guys. It took 8 weeks. They not even add extra 1 day or remove 1 day. It was 8 weeks. Bam. So eventually my visa came because I did UPS delivery. So my security guard came to my window that day and was like, "Auntie, you get package." I said, "Which package?" "Oh, yeah, bring and come front door." So by the time I went to the front door and I collected the package, it was me and my friend that were in my room. So I was like, no, this is from UPS. So it means it's from the embassy. So I could not even open it, right? I told my friend that she should open it for me so that she can tell me what's there. If it's rejection, they gave me the visa, because I honestly, guys, I do not know how to feel. So when she opened it and then saw that they had given me, immediately she told me that they gave me. I swear, I don't know if it's only me, but there's something called tears of joy. I started crying. I'm telling you, people, right there I was crying. And my visa came on a Wednesday and I had till Monday to resume school, right? So the moment my visa came on Wednesday, the first person I called was my mom, and then my mom was really happy. My mom does this happy dance whenever she's happy, and she's always like, "I'm rolling my body on the floor. I'm rolling my body." Trust me, guys, she legit rolls her body on the floor when she says things like that. So she's like, "I'm rolling my body on the floor. I'm rolling my body on the floor." I said, "Mommy, see, let me call you back. I just called you to tell you that I've gotten the visa." So the next person I called was, I think, my brother, right? And he was very like, "Oh yeah, start booking your flight, start booking your ticket and stuff like that." Pack my stuff down already, so it wasn't really difficult for me. And all I had to do was pack and then fly from Abuja to Lagos. When I got to Lagos, this is a whole different story, you people. So I was supposed to travel to Ireland on Friday before Monday resumption for school. So I was ready, I was packed, my load was in the car. But then when we checked, now, you people that live in Lagos, or people that live in Nigeria, you people know the way Lagos is. So we left, my flight was for 10 p.m. and we left the house, let's say around 2 p.m., right? But we still didn't get to the airport. So I'm going to give you people this gist. So we didn't get to the airport because two of my sisters had to go with my luggage to the airport because I was going to meet them, because I had to go to my brother's office first and say my goodbyes to my brother. I already said my goodbyes to my mom and every other member of my family. Started driving to the airport. I'm going to tell you people this. We were in traffic for 6 hours, right? And it was already 9 o'clock. My flight was for 10. It was 9 and the boarding gates closes, I think, 30 minutes or 1 hour before the flight, right? So I was confused. At this point, I had given up. I'm serious. I'd given up. I thought I was not even going to go again. I thought this was the end for me. I was already thinking about how I would tell the school to give me back my money that I paid. But when we had already gotten really close, so we had to turn back because honestly, it was a waste of time. And the guy we knew someone at the airport. So by the time we called, the guy was like, "We have up till 9:20. I was like, "Yo, we are still on 3rd Mainland Bridge and everywhere is blocked." People were legit coming down from the buses, coming down from cars and trekking. And there was no way I could come down and trek. I had 4 boxes. I had one want to do it. The one was carrying all the 4 on my head. I now said, "See, I will only try, like I would do my best, but there's traffic and there's nothing I can do." So eventually we went back home. I was sad. So the next day, I started calling, or before the next day, that same day, I started calling the agents that booked my flights, my brother's agents. I started calling them and telling them to book me a flight for the next day, and so that I could leave, because I have to be in Ireland, like Limerick, Ireland, before Monday, because that's what the school said. If you don't come before Monday, that's the end, and I didn't want it to be the end. So the next day, eventually, I I didn't have a ticket to go. Let me just tell you this. I didn't have a ticket to go. But I went to the airport with my full chest. By 2 o'clock, I'd already got into the airport with no ticket. Right? So the agent eventually was able to book me another flight to Ireland. But this time around, I had to stop at Dublin instead of Shannon. Right? So I took what I took it. Let me just say, people, I took it because there was nothing I could do. And I had to pay excess luggage because I carried Indomie, pepper, crayfish, palm oil, and some other food stuff from Nigeria because I wasn't willing to risk it. So I had to pay excess luggage. And one of my boxes had like my shoes and my bags because I didn't want to come and spend money here because I don't even know where I'm going to. Now talking of coming to come and spend money. So I paid excess luggage, and eventually, I got on the plane, and on my way to Ireland, I think my layover was for 7 hours at Germany, right? And then when we got to Germany, and I thought that I'm coming from the country where there is heat, so there probably would not be heat. So I wore like the jacket I wore on the plane wasn't that thick. When we took off to when we landed, I slept all through because I was tired, I was frustrated, I didn't get enough sleep the night before and the day before. So I was really frustrated. I didn't even care about the food that they were sharing. It was the woman beside me, or the air hostess, I think, that was waking me up at intervals to take food. I'm like, no thanks, I just want to sleep, right? But then when I got to Germany, let me tell you people, I thought that it would not be cold. But the moment I got outside like this, the cold wanted to kill me. So I had to wear my jacket and then take a connecting flight from Germany to Dublin. Yeah. And then when I entered the bus, I don't know what they call those people that check your boarding pass before you enter the bus that takes you to the plane and stuff like that. But the girl was like, my hand luggage box is too big for hand luggage, that she's gonna tag it so that they have to put it in the. I'm like, cool, no problem, that's okay by me. So when I got to the bus, she's like, oh, when you get to the bus, before you get off the bus, give it to the bus driver so that he can give it to. I was like, cool, that's fine, that's okay by me. Bear in mind that this box she was talking about had 2 of my jackets, and it also had the documents I was going to show for immigration when I get to Dublin airport. I forgot to remove it from the box. So I'd already gotten on the flight. We had landed. I cannot go and carry my box, right? So when we now got to the immigration line, I saw people bringing out paper and documents from their bag. I didn't have paper and documents to bring out from my bag. And I could not go back because I didn't even know what I was going to do. I didn't know where I was going to go to or stuff. So the first thing I did was I called my friend and I'm like, what do you think I should do? Like, I'm stuck here and I don't know what to do. My papers are in my box. My box is not with me. And then he's like, do you have your laptop? I'm like, yeah, I do. It's like, do you have those documents on your laptop? I'm like, yeah, I have those documents on. So like, I'm guessing you can show them on your laptop. And let me just tell people that my laptop was not behaving itself because it was behaving like something that they put scoin inside. It was taking time to come on. It was taking time. It was really slow. Apparently I found out that it was the antivirus. Something was wrong with the antivirus anyways. But when I got to the immigration line, all the people that I was on the same flight with, they had already gone. People from the other flights now started coming. So as I was standing in front and people were coming, I just moved away and I'm like, oh no, you can go, you can go. Meanwhile, I was still battling with my laptop, trying to figure out my life. And then when I eventually turned on my laptop, I now went back to the line. And then when I got to the immigration, the front with the immigration place, one woman was there. And the first thing I said to her is, I'm sorry, I have my hard copy documents in my box. And my box was taken to the area. I don't know the area, but my box was taken. I had to drop my box because it was too heavy. And she's like, okay, do you have those documents on your laptop? I said, yes, I have. I had already opened all the documents that she would ask for. So I asked her and then she said, yes, I could show her the documents. See, let me just tell you that it was the happiest day of my life. The happiest day. I was already thinking about how I'm going to go back to Nigeria. But I opened my laptop and then I showed her everything, and she did everything. She just looked at the documents on my laptop, asked me for this, asked me for that, and I had to open it on my laptop, and I showed her everything from my laptop, right? And then after she did that, she finished, and then I had to go. I went outside again, thinking that it won't be cold. I don't know why I kept doing that though, thinking it won't be cold. But when I got outside, it was really, really, really cold. It was 7 degrees. Coming from a country that is usually 32 degrees, 30 degrees, 29 degrees. Like, I wasn't expecting 7 degrees. I downloaded like the weather map from Nigeria so that I could check the weather and check the map and stuff like that when I get here. I took a bus from Dublin to Limerick. The bus driver was actually really nice because I told him that I didn't know where I was going. This is my first time, and I really appreciate it if he can tell me where I would come down. So he had to come down and another person had to take over. And I made sure that I sat down in front so that he would tell me when I get to my stop, because it just makes sense to sit down in front, just very close to the driver. So when he was coming down, he told the next driver that this is my first time here and I don't know where I'm coming down, so the driver should please show me where I'm going to come down and stuff now. So the other driver was nice enough, very nice, to show me where I'll come down. And then when I came down, I still didn't know, trust me, I still didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew where my hotel was, because I booked my hotel from Nigeria. So I knew where my hotel was, and I downloaded this app called Free Now Taxi. It allows you, it's like Uber, so you can there's no Uber in Limerick, but I think there's Uber in Dublin City, but I'm not in Dublin City, I'm in Limerick. So I had to download Free Now Taxi. I ordered a taxi. It was 17 euro. For me, that was pretty expensive because, like, yo, where am I going to? That's money to go to the airport from Wuse to airport in Abuja. So I'm like, no problem, I really don't know where I'm going to, so just take me there. So he took me to the hotel. I had to drag my luggages inside. I eventually got a room. I was pretty tired, so the first thing I did was to hang some of my clothes, call my mom, let her know that I got into the hotel, and I did a tour. I did a tour with my mom and my sister. After getting to the hotel and settling in, and let me just tell you, me settling in, this was already Sunday because I had to leave with the next flight, which was Saturday from Nigeria. I got there on Sunday. Monday was the deadline to resume. So I picked out my outfit that I was going to wear to school, what time I was going to leave the house. I woke up on time. I got dressed. I ordered a taxi that would take me to school because I didn't know where I was going to get a bus. I didn't know what to do or anything. And I was hoping that they could help me when I get to school. And I didn't even have accommodation. Like, I tried to book school accommodation, but they gave me something that I didn't want, or something that I didn't request for. So I turned it down. I tried to get other accommodations, but I could not. I don't want to blame it on the fact that I was in Nigeria, but I don't think that's the problem. It's just that I didn't really know much, so it was stressful. So by the time I got to school the next day, I met one of my housemates, and let me tell you, that was like the meeting between us was funny because I had earphones on. I was on a video call talking to my friend, and she came to me and she's like, "Are you Nigerian?" And trust me, I wasn't listening to her. I was listening to the person I was talking to, because he was asking me, "Are you talking to someone, or is someone trying to talk to you?" So I'm like, yeah. So the moment she asked me, "Are you Nigerian?" I shook my head like, "No, I'm not." And then she left. And then she came back and she's like, "Sorry, excuse me." I'm like, "Sorry, yeah." She's like, "Are you Nigerian?" I said, "Yes, I am. I'm Nigerian." She's like, "But you said you're not Nigerian before." I said, "Well, I didn't hear you, and I was talking on the phone, and the no was actually for the person I was talking to, and not for you." And she's like, "Oh, so what are you doing here?" And stuff. So I'm like, accommodation office now. My school has an accommodation center, accommodation office, whichever one. It's called student accommodation. So you go there when you need accommodation or when you need help finding an accommodation and stuff. So we went there. They kept telling us stories, yada, yada, yada. So we went to buy food. We walked around, and then what we did was we now started browsing daft.ie and rent.ie, checking every property that we could find in like the vicinity of the school. So we started walking. Now we left school and then we took a bus, started walking. We went to one house that we saw first, checked it out. And let me just tell you people that this is someone that I didn't even know before, but we were in the same predicament. So it meant that we would be able to help each other out one way or the other. And she was staying in a hotel that wasn't even close to my hotel, right? But she had I think a friend with her, like a family friend with her, that had stayed in Ireland for a very long time. So he was actually used to the country or something. I don't know how to explain it to you people, but he has stayed here and we haven't stayed here, right? So by the time we got around, we went to look for houses. We started checking, we started looking for houses. It took like 2 days for us to look for a bunch of houses, but we still didn't get anything. And the one that we got, the guy was like, that the people haven't left and they should leave like next month. And in my head, I'm like, hotel next month, hotel next month. I started calculating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm like, guy, I don't bring money for hotel for 1 month from Nigeria. And then we continued our search like the next day, and we started looking for more. So while we were on the bus going to school, we now saw like 2 other people on the road, and she's like, oh yes, those 2 people were on my flight, or one of those person was on my flight. And let me just tell you that one of those 2 people ended up being one of my housemates. I'm going to do a housemate feature video sometime, so that and then we can all share our stories about how like we got together and rented a whole house together and stuff. But eventually when we got to school, you know, because you don't know anybody, everybody's pretty new to you, and to me, I'm like, what's wrong with all these people? Me, I'm looking for where to stay. I'm looking for a house. Like, but they didn't even have. They were staying in one hotel that was close to school, because I think my school partnered with the hotel, and me, I did not know. So for that hotel, you get to pay, I think 64 euro per night weekdays, but the weekends the price skyrockets. But the one I was staying, I was paying, I think 80 euro per night or 70 euro per night. And trust me, that's not small money. If you convert it to naira, it's not small money. Let me just tell you people that we went through hell trying to find the house that we would stay, because let me just tell you that, thank God. And then you have to open a bank account. That one self is another stress. You know how in Nigeria you will go to maybe Access Bank or any bank, you would open an account and they'll tell you, oh, you receive your account number within the next 24 hours. I've been right there, safe, they can give you your account number. This one, you have to wait for between 3 days or 4 days to 1 week for you to get your account number. It was this house I went to check out, which is the house we are currently living in. And I was the only one that went to check out the house because every other person had to go for lectures and I didn't have lectures. So when I went to check out the house, let me just tell you that there was one Oyinbo boy that was in this house telling the woman, the agent, that oh, I see that you have a back lawn. I have a mower in Cork. I can bring my lawn mower. And in my head, I'm like, me, I do not have mower. Me, I do not have mower. This boy wants to come and use mower to go on the rush. What will I do? So what I did was I just decided that I'm going to be myself. See, so I went upstairs. I made videos of the like rooms upstairs, the bathrooms. I made videos of the entire house, right? And then the guy was still downstairs with his friends saying that they have mower. Me, I cuckoo came inside. I went, I checked all the rooms. So when they left, the agent now said to me, she's like, oh, here's a form that you fill and send back to me. So I'm like, oh, okay, so when is the house available? She's like, oh, the house is available next week, Monday. And I think this was a Friday. I think it was a Friday or Thursday I went to check out the house. It probably is Friday because I don't have lectures on Friday. So I think it was a Friday. I went to check out the house and I'm like, oh, sure, no problem. And she told me that this is what you need to submit. That's what you need to submit. And I'm like, okay. Bear in mind that most of the documents that you have to submit when you get here, they're not simple documents. You have to show proof of funds. You have to show that you have a referee or reference, whatever you want to call it. You have to show that you know somebody here. I think that's what makes it easy for you to actually get the house. So we all had to get like individual referees. right? And to bring bank statements, submit our passports, like photocopy of our passports or a copy of our passport and stuff like that. So when I checked the house, I'm like, oh, the house is really nice, and please just let me know. She said the landlord is going to make a decision tomorrow, which was Saturday, and he's going to let us know about it. So I'm like, okay, thank you. Please just let me know what the landlord says and everything. Let me just tell you that the way I'm talking now, that's how my voice was calm, because I had been through it. So eventually, she went on, like, I left the house and I went back to the hotel, and I told everybody, I'm like, oh, see, that house was good. Oh, I showed pictures. So we're waiting. I'm waiting for the house. So on Monday, I went to the bank so that I could open my account or deposit money into my account, one of the two. And then while I was at the bank, someone called me. It was a strange number. I didn't know who the person was. And I'm like, Talele, don't pay me. I'm inside the bank hall. And you know when you're in Nigerian bank here, they say don't answer calls. So me, I thought it was the same thing. Plus, I was busy with the person trying to open the account for me. I was trying to put money in my account, and I could not answer my call. So I had to wait till later. And next thing I saw, like, an alert on my phone that I have a voicemail. Cool. So when I left the bank, I was walking to the bus station, and then I'm like, when I got to the bus station, I'm like, let me listen to this voice note, Jere. And let me just tell you people that before listening to this voice note, we had trekked miles that I cannot join together and explain. Like, we climbed hills and mountains looking for house. Just looking for us. We climbed hills and mountains. And one fateful day climbing these hills and mountains, I was actually wearing heels. I don't know who sent me, but I was trying to feel like a baby girl, right? So while I was waiting at the bus station, I said, oh, let me listen to my voicemail. So I played the voicemail, and the first thing I heard was, hi Miriam, this is Chloe. Calling you to say that the house, the landlord made a decision and you got the house. I first stopped the voicemail. I'm like, oh wait, I will listen to it again. And then I went back and I played it again. And I heard the same thing. The landlord has made a decision. You got the house. You have to pay the money. It was not my problem. You got the house. And it's a 5-bedroom house, and we were only 4. So that meant that we had to look for the 5th person. That wasn't even a problem. We were ready to look for the 5th person. It wasn't a problem. But immediately I heard, like, we got the house. Hey, let me tell you people, I was crying at the bus stop. I was crying like a small child. And the first person I called was my mom, to tell my mom that I had gotten, because she was with me throughout the whole climbing mountains and looking for houses and hotels and everything. And I called my mom, and my mom was really excited. And let me just tell you, she did her rolling on the floor thing again, right? And then after that, I called my other friends that were at the hotel. I'm like, let me just tell people we have found the house. And then one of my housemates that was in the hotel was like, should we start packing our load? I said, no, you cannot pack your load because the house is not even ready till next week. And she's like, so we have to stay in this hotel for the weekend. We didn't mind staying in the hotel. I mean, we maybe minded a bit, right? But knowing that you have a house to go to, right, and you don't have to stay in the hotel. Plus, those hotel people treated us somehow. They pushed us from our room to one other room that was small. But that's okay. So knowing that you have a house to go to just gives you like this kind of a little bit of peace of mind. So, and what we did was, when I went back to the hotel, everybody was really excited that we found the house, right? So what we did was we paid for the weekend at the hotel, like the remaining money that we had to pay. The agent was like, she has gone for a conference and she won't be back until like 2 days or 3 days, I guess. So we had to pay, because obviously we have to stay in the hotel till we move to the house. So we paid for the remaining 2-3 days, I don't know, but it was more pricey because it was pricey in it. So we paid, and then eventually we moved into our house. I don't know if you guys want to see like a tour of what the house looks like after 10 months of moving into the house. I will be sure to show you what the house looks like after 10 months of moving into the house, but it still looks like the house that we moved into 10 months before, right? So if you guys want to see a video, please just tell me in the comment section. I'll be sure to do it's not a house tour, it's just mini house. It's not only me that has the house, so it's not like it's house that I bought with my money, but I'll be sure to do a house tour for you guys, right? So after that, we kind of moved into the house. We started advertising, looking for the fifth person, and then we found a lot of people came to check. I think 3 people or 4. I can't remember. But eventually, one person came, and she was South African, and she just had that vibe. I don't know if it's because all of us were black, but she just had that vibe that flowed with every other person. I'm like, nah, this girl. Now this one I really want. So we were still doing shakara as usual. So when she checked the room, we're like, okay, no problem. There's a bunch of people who still checking the room, but we'll let you know tomorrow. We knew that she was the one who wanted to give the room. But we were still doing shakara. Can you even imagine? So the next day I sent her a message and I'm like, we decided to give you the room. We paid the rent before moving into the house. So the way it works is you pay the rent for a month and then you pay a deposit for a month also. In total, we paid 3,600 euro. Yeah, my wig. In total, we paid 3,600 euro. But bear in mind that we paid the extra 1 month we paid for a security deposit, so we get that back when we're leaving the house if we don't break, spoil, or crash anything. We've not broken, spoiled, or crashed anything so far, so we are good. So we get that back when we leave the house. Eventually everybody was complete in the house, and this was cool. I mean, I missed 2 weeks of school work, right? But my mind was still not at rest because I was staying in the hotel, right? But eventually, people, let me just tell you that I am glad I made the move, or I'm glad I made the decision to move to Ireland, and I didn't like overthink it and stuff like that. But I went through it and it and it and it's just going up like that. I went through a lot before eventually settling down, and I'm glad I did. I will talk about work, but I feel like this video will be too long and people might get tired. But if you've gotten that far from the beginning story, that means, like, if you've gotten this far, that means you enjoyed the video. So this is the end of the video. This is my move to Ireland video, and I had to cut the video short because if I tell you people this story is going to be for 3 whole days and you'll still be here with me. So guys, I will be doing a housemate feature sometime. So if you have any questions before then, or if you have any questions that you would like us to talk about, or if you have any questions that you would like to ask me or want me to address or anything, feel free to ask me in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to reply you in my next video, which will be my next video. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I'm so glad that you guys, if you've stayed to the end of the video, I'm so glad that you stayed to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys, and don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that when I post the next video, you will get a notification. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Goodbye. Mwah.